Okay. Oh, look at the hair. What crazy. All right, welcome. Good evening. Good evening. Just trying to polish a little bit of my glasses. And I just finished with my last client of the day. Welcome, Sarah. I had an amazing day today. And what made my day amazing, you should ask? Aside from the fact that the sun rose and I was able to see the sun today, what happened was one of my clients that I had today was a college student, and she came for a private meditation session, a guided meditation session. And it's such amazing energy. She was only 18 years old, and she thought enough of herself to come in for some self-care. She told me that she does meditation every day and wanted to experience a guided meditation. I used my quartz crystal singing bowl, and it was awesome just to be with this young person and be a part of her journey as she's, awakening to herself on so many levels. Because, we all remember being 18. I mean, I still remember my freshman year in college like it was yesterday. And so that was part of making a great day today. And I just finished with my last client for the day, and it was a reflexology session. And my motto is love your feet and your body will love you. So welcome, everyone. I figured it's been a while since I did a nightly reading of the Tao Te Ching. So I figured I would come on and do that. I had a few minutes before I needed to start winding down for the evening. So I'd like to welcome everyone here. Thank you for being here. So, Gary, seeing your name just reminded me. Welcome. I see we have some new names here and some people I haven't seen in a while. So I'm so happy that you've joined us. So let's take a nice, deep, centering breath to invite us into this sacred circle. So welcome, welcome. And my cup this evening is just good old-fashioned cold water. I'm sure I'll have a little bit of tea later. Herbal infusion, actually. Okay. So I will read from the Tao Te Ching by Jia Fu Fang and his wife, Jane English. And we are going to read chapter 23. And there's the beautiful layout. Okay. Chapter 23. To talk little is natural. High winds do not last all morning. Heavy rain does not last all day. Why is this? Heaven and earth. If heaven and earth cannot make things eternal, how is it possible for man? He who follows the Tao is at one with the Tao. He who is virtuous experiences virtue. He who loses the way feels lost. When you are at one with the Tao welcomes you. When you are at one with virtue, the virtue is always there. When you are at one with loss, the loss is experienced willingly. He who does not trust enough will not be trusted. There we go. And so next will be the reading. Let's see if I can remember this in order. I think next I usually do the Tao Te Ching by Stephen Mitchell. Okay, so that was chapter 23. And for those of you who are new, I think it's great to use a couple of different translations because, of course, you know, most of us are not native Chinese speakers. And so to have more than one translation, more than two translations, we're able to get a brighter scope, a wider scope of what, you know, the original meaning is. Chapter 23. Express yourself completely, then keep quiet. Be like the forces of nature. When it blows, there is only wind. When it rains, there is only rain. When the clouds pass, the sun shines through. If you open yourself to the Tao, you are at one with the Tao, and you can embody it completely. If you open yourself to insight, you are at one with insight, and you can use it completely. If you open yourself to loss, you are at one with loss, and you can accept it completely. Open yourself to the Tao, then trust your natural responses, and everything will fall into place. That is Stephen Mitchell. And our next is Tao Te Ching, Stephen Addis, and Stanley Lombardo. And let's see. Okay. Chapter 23. Here we go. And of course, there's always some Chinese, and I'm going to try my best to pronounce the Chinese. And it's Shi Yin Su Jian, spare words, nature's way. Violent winds do not blow all morning. Sudden rain cannot pour all day. What causes these things? Heaven and earth. If heaven and earth do not blow and pour for long, how much less should humans? Therefore, in following Tao, those on the way become the way. Those who gain become the gain. Those who lose become the loss. All within Tao, the wayfarer welcome upon the way. Those who gain welcome the gain. Those who lose welcome within loss. Without trust in this, there is no trust at all. So that was the Tao by Stephen Lombardo and Stanley. That's Stephen Addis and Stanley Lombardo. And our fourth reading is let's see. This is the Tao by John C.H. Wu. Okay. And let's see. Here we go. You can see that. I always like to show the page. Only simple and quiet words will ripen of themselves, for a whirlwind does not last a whole morning, nor does a sudden shower last a whole day. Who is their author? Heaven and earth. Even heaven and earth cannot make such violent things last long. How much truer is it of the rash endeavors of men? Hence, he who cultivates the Tao is one with the Tao. He who practices virtue is one with virtue. He who courts after loss is one with loss. To be one with the Tao is to be a welcome accession to the Tao. To be one with virtue is to be a welcome accession to virtue. To be one with loss is to be a welcome accession to loss. Deficiency of faith on your part entails faithlessness on the part of others. I enjoyed that reading. I think of all of them, my favorite one was the translation by Stephen Mitchell. I love his translations. And last but not least, before I have to go, we will have Eckhart Tolle, Oneness with All Life. Inspirational selections from a new earth. And so here we go. Is it possible to let go of the belief that you should or need to know who you are? In other words, can you cease looking to conceptual definitions to give you a sense of self? Can you cease looking to thought for an identity? The more you make your thoughts into your identity, the more cut off you are from the spiritual dimension within yourself. Defining yourself through thought is limiting yourself. When you fully accept that you don't know, you actually enter a state of peace and clarity that is closer to who you truly are than thought could ever be. So that was a little bit of wisdom from Eckhart Tolle. He is awesome. And I was just looking, I don't think I brought my cards in the house. I went earlier to go visit a friend of mine who, you've probably heard me mention her before. She is a retired psychologist, and she uses the tarot. She used the tarot in her practice, and actually she went to the Metropolitan Museum of Art yesterday for a tour and a class on the history of tarot by, his last name is Place. I can't remember his first name, but he created the tarot deck, Alchemical Tarot. So if any of you are familiar with that, you might want to check him out. Welcome, Screaming Sardine. I know hers is the only name I mentioned tonight. I just love that name, Screaming Sardine. Such a cool moniker. It reminds me, whenever I hear Screaming Sardines, I think of a giant sardine can. And this is a punk rock band, and they're all dressed up in sardine costumes. And in the music video, the sardines pop up out of the tin, like screaming the lyrics to their emo song. So that's what comes in to my mind. And I was just looking, I left my tarot cards out in the car, but just seeing if I can pull any cards where I don't think I have any cards available, but if you give me one moment, I will get my other deck of Earth Magic cards. So, Okay, so I'm back. Had to run and get my, can't get the box open. All right, so I want to pull a card tonight, and let's see where I am with time. So, okay, so so I will pull a card. Let's see. We have some new people in the room, and if anyone who hasn't had me pull a card for them in the past, go ahead. If you want me to pull a card for you, say me, and I have enough time. I can do 3 people. So go right ahead. Anyone who hasn't had a card pulled in the past, maybe Screaming Sardine, maybe Fakir. So go ahead. Otherwise, I will just. Okay, Screaming Sardine. And what does that say? Integrator? Integrator. Okay, so I did see you, DJ, but I did do the last time, so maybe I'll catch you the next time. But Screaming Sardine, Integrator, and Deborah Hickman are 3 new people that I hadn't done it before. Thank you, DJ. Okay, so let's see who was first. Screaming Sardine. So when I finish with the first person, I want the next person to go ahead and kind of meditate. So Screaming Sardine, go ahead and kind of meditate. I'm going to shuffle the deck for you and pull a card for you. So go ahead. And thank you. Please remember to click like on this video. It helps with the algorithms. And please subscribe and share. Okay, so this is for you, Screaming Sardine. Picking a card for you. Oh, this is a good card. This is Fog, Veiled. So I am going to go ahead and read a little bit from the card. So this is Fog. And I'm going to hold the card up for you in just a moment. And of course, my regulars know this is always an exercise in me remembering my alphabet. So Fog, Veiled. Fog is simply a low cloud, a blanket of water crystals that hasn't gained the density of raindrops. The thicker it is, the more it shrouds us in its damp and billowy arms. It can be so thick that it makes it nearly impossible to see directly in front of us. During those times, silence makes its own sound as we pause and allow ourselves to be enveloped in this shroud of impenetrable density. We may even feel as if we can do nothing but be still and await what is to be revealed. So this card, Screaming Sardine, Veiled, Fog. And when I think of clouds being droplets of water, this card reminds me of our emotions. And, you know, sometimes we have so many different emotions stirring in front of us, you know, in our mind, in our hearts, you know, depending on whatever it is that we're going through. And even sometimes it can be happy emotions, but water is related to emotions. And so this is a card right now that's reminding you that even though emotions might be heavy and swirling all around you, it's sort of like inviting you to take a moment to step into that stillness, to that silence, you know, as you're waiting for the sun to rise and to burn off that fog and to lift the veil. And once that veil is lifted, you're able to see that much more clearly. So, you know, just as when we're driving, you don't force your way through the fog. You kind of slow down and you take your time step by step. So that is for you, Screaming Sardine. And who was next? Integrator. Integrator. Am I saying that correctly? Integrator. I don't know, a integrator. I don't know if it's a play on words or what. Okay, so I'm shuffling this deck for you. Screaming Sardine says, thank you. You are welcome. A integrator. There we go. I see integrator. Okay, a integrator. There you go. So a integrator, this is for you. Oh, mountain, strength. So let's read what, and this is the deck Earth Magic, which is by Stephen Farmer. Okay, let's see. Deborah Hickman is next. Okay, so we have mountain. Let's see what we have for mountain. Mountain. Integrator, this is for you, mountain. The massiveness of the mountain in this image, bearing the blankets of snow as spectacular hues from the sun reflect from its body, evokes a sense of impenetrable and immovable strength and stature. A mountain's quiet, resolute immensity leaves us in awe. And inspires us to reach for greater heights, yet it can also pose challenges. The firm base of the mountain evolves to the narrower crest in its attempt to reach the sky. More daring individuals become enamored by the peak and see it as something to conquer, although it can never be truly conquered. When the mountain feels threatened in some way, or simply shrugs its shoulder, the strength exhibited can wreak havoc for all beings caught in its skin. So this is for a integrator. So Pia Mine says, I bought this deck after you read me my first card. Love my deck. I love this deck. It's so beautiful. So this is for you, an integrator. This is mountain strength. Okay. So this is all about standing firm in who you are. And sometimes not so firm that you're not able to allow ideas and new avenues of expression to get around you. So that's what comes up in this mountain strength. So enjoy that. Enjoy standing in your strength. Mountain. So that was for a integrator. Thank you, Music Heals Me. Okay, and let's see, Deborah. I think that was Deborah Hickman, because I know we have a couple of Deborahs here. Deborah, thank you, Chris, Deborah. And thank you, Music Heals Me. Thank you. Thank you. So this is Deborah Hickman. Okay. Ooh, this is a good card. I love this card. Autumnal equinox. And I love the autumnal equinox and all this, its beautiful golden, orange, and red colors. So beautiful. And what's really cool about autumnal equinox, don't we all love autumn and the beautiful colors, the golds and the reds and the rust and the browns, and it's so beautiful and energizing in a way. And then they release to the ground. They release. And so autumn equinox reminds us that, even though things can be beautiful and wonderful, it's okay to, when it's ready, to allow things to release, to let go. Because once you let go, and then you sit in that silence as you're contemplating that letting go, and that's like the winter. And then what happens the following spring? Newness is able to come out of that which we have released. So there you go. It was for you, Deborah Hickman. It's oh my gosh, you guys are making me hungry. Anna's putting flame in a frying pan, and Music Heals Me is posting tacos. Is somebody making me tacos? And bringing tacos for me? Ah, awesome. All right. So I enjoyed that. Thank you for allowing me to share with you, and I hope you enjoyed the Tao Te Ching reading that I did. And please check out the video that I did from last night, which is really great, which was the introduction to the tarot, and perusing what's his name? Paul Foster Case. And I look forward to our next installment of the tarot, which will probably continue a little bit more with the Fool's card, and then move into the Magician card. And then our other topic, the video that I did this morning, was my journey into Reiki, and I look forward to expanding and sharing more on Reiki with you. And thank you very much, Niz, and thank you, Deborah, thank you, DJ, thank you, Seven, Music Heals Me, and thank you, Chris, and Bakir, and I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, and My Skies, and let's see else, Pia, and Screaming Sardine, da-na-na-na-na. Thank you all, and if I missed anyone, thank you, Tan, for being here. Let's see, I think I got everyone. Gary. So, and Lee, thank you. Thank all of you for being here this evening. And please remember to like the video, to subscribe, and to share. And let me bring out Gary's favorite part, mine as well. And I think once I'm going to see about trying to bring one of my crystals bowls. I'm not sure how that's going to translate, but we can give it a try. I'll probably do a recording and then play it and see what happens. But anyway, I appreciate all of you. I thank you so much for being here, and thank you for being part of this circle. And I'm going to take a nice deep centering breath. I wish you peace and great bliss. Thank you. Have a good evening.